You notice it most in the mornings. Your child wakes up slowly, eyes half open, shoulders heavy. You think maybe they went to bed too late. Maybe it's school stress. Maybe they're just growing. But even after weekends of rest, they're still tired. That quiet fatigue follows them like a shadow, through breakfast, through class, through everything they love. Every parent sees it and wonders the same thing. Why is my child always tired? Doctors call it low-grade energy deficiency. But new research is revealing something deeper. It isn't laziness. It isn't just sleep. It's chemistry. According to a 2024 Harvard study on child metabolism, nearly 60% of kids aged 8 to 17 show measurable deficiencies in at least one key nutrient that powers cellular energy. That means the engine is fine, but the fuel is missing. So today, let's explore the hidden nutrients quietly draining children's energy. The ones no one talks about because they're so ordinary we assume they're covered. They're not. Parents, tell us your child's age and where you're watching from. You'll be surprised how many families in every corner of the world are facing the same silent exhaustion. Now picture this. Inside every child's body are trillions of mitochondria, tiny energy factories converting food into fuel. When even one essential nutrient is missing, that process slows. Just a little at first, but multiply that by billions of cells and you get the modern epidemic of tired kids. The first clue shows up not in the classroom, but in the mirror. Pale lips, dull eyes, cold hands. Most parents think it's just winter, but it's something older, something as simple as a mineral that humans have depended on since the beginning of time. This mineral carries oxygen, literally, to every cell. Without it, muscles ache, focus drifts, and even the smallest walk feels heavy. You've guessed it. It's iron. A 2023 Stanford pediatric trial found that mild iron deficiency, not anemia, just low stores, cut endurance and concentration by 30% in teens. And here's the hidden part. It often hides behind normal blood tests. Because iron fluctuates during growth spurts, many kids dip below optimal levels between ages 10 and 15. Iron builds hemoglobin, which carries oxygen. Less oxygen means less energy. The brain feels it first. That's why iron-deficient kids often look attentive but can't retain information. The neurons are literally running low on fuel. The fix isn't steak every night. It's pairing plant-based sources with vitamin C, spinach with a squeeze of lemon, oats with strawberries, beans with tomatoes. Simple meals that restore balance quietly over weeks. But here's the surprising part. Too much dairy can block iron absorption. Calcium competes for the same entry points in the intestine. So spacing milk and iron-rich foods by 2 hours can double absorption naturally. Small timing change, big energy difference. Now, imagine your child finally gets enough iron. Oxygen returns to cells. Mornings feel lighter. But energy still fades by afternoon. Why? Because the body can't use that oxygen efficiently without another mineral, the one that regulates over 300 biochemical reactions, including muscle relaxation and nerve signaling. It's the body's natural battery charger. Yet nearly half of adolescents in developed countries fall short. That mineral is magnesium. Researchers at the University of Cambridge in 2024 called magnesium the forgotten nutrient of modern childhood. They found that low magnesium levels are linked not only to muscle cramps, but also to restless sleep and morning fatigue. When magnesium drops, the nervous system stays on high alert, even during rest. So kids sleep long, but never deeply. Magnesium calms the brain by opening GABA receptors, the same pathways anxiety medication targets. Nature built its own tranquilizer, but modern diets replaced it with processed foods that strip it away. White flour loses 80% of its magnesium during milling. Sugary snacks flush it out through urine. Add stress, and levels drop even faster. The signs? Dark circles under the eyes, eye twitches, headaches after screens, irritability that looks like mood swings but is really biochemistry. Replenish it with leafy greens, nuts, seeds, whole grains. Even a few almonds or a bowl of oatmeal can make a difference. And when paired with vitamin B6, found in bananas, absorption doubles. Parents notice the change within a week. Calmer evenings, deeper sleep, easier mornings. Because magnesium doesn't just relax muscles. It reteaches the body how to rest. But here's where the puzzle gets interesting. Even with iron and magnesium restored, some kids still drag their feet, feel sad for no reason, or catch every cold going around. The missing link isn't inside the muscles this time. It's sunlight. A 2024 NIH study found that 70% of children in northern climates are vitamin D deficient by winter's end. Vitamin D regulates more than bone strength. It switches on genes that manage energy and mood. Low levels mimic depression, low motivation, fatigue, oversleeping. And because vitamin D is fat-soluble, it takes weeks of consistent sunlight or supplementation to rebuild. Encourage 15 minutes of morning light daily. Eggs, fortified milk, salmon. Tiny servings matter. The difference? Brighter moods, stronger immunity, steadier energy. Scientists call vitamin D the daylight hormone. Parents call it the reason breakfast smiles return. Now you might wonder, how can one small nutrient change so much? Because vitamin D controls calcium, magnesium, and even serotonin, the happiness chemical. It's the conductor of the entire orchestra. When the conductor loses rhythm, the whole orchestra plays out of tune. That's why a vitamin D imbalance doesn't stop at fatigue. It touches mood, immunity, even skin health. The fix is gentle consistency. Daylight, real food, patience. But fatigue can still whisper underneath everything. A child may sleep well, eat well, move well, yet their spark feels dim. Teachers notice slow recall. Parents notice blank stares. That's when we look to the quiet powerhouse of the nervous system. The vitamin that keeps every signal alive. It's called B12. A 2023 Harvard Neuroscience Review named B12 the ignition key of cellular energy. Without it, red blood cells form slowly, nerves misfire, and the brain loses its sharpness. Unlike other vitamins, B12 doesn't come from plants, only from animal proteins or fortified foods, which means vegetarian and vegan teens are at risk without even realizing. Early signs are subtle: tingling hands, pale skin, forgetfulness, anxiety. Blood work can appear normal while energy quietly declines. The body stores B12 in the liver, but once those reserves empty, recovery takes months. You don't need injections to fix it. You need awareness. Add fortified cereals, nutritional yeast, or a doctor-approved supplement, and pair B12 with folate-rich greens. They work as partners in building red blood cells. Within weeks, you'll notice quicker thinking, brighter eyes, steadier moods, because the brain runs on oxygen and vitamins, like an engine on spark and fuel. Both are required to ignite focus. But there's one more piece left: the invisible nutrient linking body, brain, and behavior. It's not stored in the liver or made by the sun. It lives in cell membranes, shaping every thought, every heartbeat, every movement. Omega-3 fatty acids. Modern diets overflow with omega-6 oils from fried foods and snacks, tipping the ratio of inflammation toward fatigue. A 2024 Stanford Pediatric Nutrition Study found that restoring omega-3 balance improved classroom concentration by 31% and reduced irritability by 22% within 2 months. Because omega-3s build flexible cell walls, allowing nutrients in and waste out. When cells stiffen, energy transfer slows, and the brain feels foggy. You'll find them in fish like salmon, in flaxseed, chia, walnuts. If your child avoids fish, a plant-based supplement works too. What matters is the balance: 2 parts omega-6 for every 1 part omega-3. That single ratio can turn sluggish afternoons into steady focus. Now step back for a moment and look at the full picture. 5 nutrients, 5 quiet gaps hiding in everyday life. Iron carries oxygen. Magnesium converts it into calm energy. Vitamin D lights the rhythm. B12 sparks the brain. Omega-3 keeps every connection smooth. Together, they create what doctors call metabolic harmony, when the body's chemistry and the child's spirit finally move in the same direction. But restoring nutrients is more than food. It's environment, it's rhythm, it's grace. Begin with the basics. Serve breakfast rich in color, oats, fruit, a sprinkle of seeds. Add natural light at the table. Encourage water over soda. Leave room for joy. Then watch what happens over the next month. Energy rises quietly, not explosively. Morning moods soften. Homework frustration fades. You'll see posture change, heads lift, eyes brighten. Because energy isn't just a physical state. It's emotional permission to engage with life again. Science calls it nutrient repletion. Parents call it getting their child back. Every cell is a tiny promise of potential, and all it asks for is the right ingredients. Fuel those cells with care, and they'll return the favor with strength, laughter, curiosity. So tonight, when you pack lunch or plan breakfast, remember, you're not just feeding hunger. You're fueling future focus. Every bite is communication, telling the body, you are safe, you are supported, you can shine. And that's how hidden deficiencies stop being hidden. Not through fear, but through awareness. Which of these simple shifts will you try first? Share it in the comments. Your small story might light another family's way. And if this message helped you see energy differently, subscribe for more science-backed secrets to raising calm, resilient, thriving kids. Healthy meals, rested minds, balanced energy. That's the quiet revolution every home can start, one breakfast at a time. Because energy isn't only physical fuel, it's emotional permission. When a child finally feels steady inside, the whole rhythm of their day changes. They speak differently. They listen differently. Even their laughter sounds brighter. What we often call low energy is really low stability, the chemistry of imbalance echoing through behavior. That's why nutrition isn't just food, it's information. Every bite tells the body something about the world, whether it's safe, whether it's nourished, whether it can relax. Think of the body like an orchestra again. Each nutrient plays an instrument. Iron handles tempo. Magnesium manages harmony. Vitamin D provides light. B12 gives focus. Omega-3s keep the rhythm smooth. When even one section plays off-key, fatigue becomes the song. A 2024 Stanford metabolic study measured this harmony directly. Children with balanced micronutrient profiles had 40% steadier heart rate variability, the measure scientists use for resilience. That means their nervous systems bounce back faster from stress, less crash after exams, less irritability after long days. Because real energy is flexibility, not intensity. Parents sometimes chase instant fixes, energy drinks, sugar, caffeine. They work like fireworks, bright, loud, gone. Nutrition works like sunrise, slow, consistent. Certain, but it's not only what goes in, it's what stays. Modern life is full of nutrient thieves. Refined sugar steals magnesium. Processed flour robs B vitamins. Late-night screen time depletes melatonin, which in turn affects vitamin D absorption. The loop keeps tightening until exhaustion feels normal. It doesn't have to be. Small restoration rituals rebuild the loop in reverse. A glass of water before school, a protein snack mid-afternoon. Even 5 minutes outside during recess. Each act tells the body, resources are coming, you can rest. And rest, true rest, is where energy grows. Sleep is the hidden laboratory of growth. During those quiet hours, cells recycle iron, synthesize B12, and release growth hormones triggered by magnesium and vitamin D. When sleep is shallow, those reactions stall. That's why nutritionists call dinner the prelude to tomorrow's energy. Keep it simple: whole grains, vegetables, healthy fats. Avoid heavy fried meals late at night. A calm digestive system allows deep sleep. In one Harvard sleep nutrition trial, kids who ate balanced dinners with omega-3 rich foods slept 42 minutes longer on average. That's nearly a full REM cycle, the stage where memories consolidate and mitochondria repair themselves. So food and sleep aren't separate, they're partners. Feed the body right, and sleep becomes medicine. Sleep well, and food turns into real energy instead of storage. Now, think about mornings. The alarm rings, the kitchen lights flicker, screens glow. Cortisol surges, the hormone that wakes us. But if breakfast is skipped, cortisol stays high too long. High cortisol burns nutrients faster, especially magnesium and B vitamins. That's why a calm breakfast is worth more than an hour of extra sleep. A simple ritual works wonders. Slow breathing while pouring juice. Gratitude before the first bite. Sunlight on the face. It tells the nervous system the day begins in peace, not panic. When that signal repeats day after day, the brain rewires. Children start the day already charged instead of chasing energy all morning. But sometimes fatigue hides behind emotions we mistake for personality. A child who withdraws may not be shy. They may be depleted. A teen who snaps may not be defiant. They may be hungry for magnesium. The bridge between biology and behavior is thinner than most imagine. A 2023 Yale Pediatric Psychology review found that correcting mild nutrient deficiencies reduced behavioral outbursts by 35% in middle school students. Not through discipline, through dinner. Because when the body has what it needs, the mind quiets. When the mind quiets, the heart opens. Energy returns as calm curiosity, not hyperactivity. Focus returns as joy in small things. So if your child seems tired of everything, start with nourishment, not motivation. Energy doesn't come from pushing harder. It comes from feeding deeper. Feeding deeper doesn't always mean more food. Sometimes it means better rhythm. The body loves rhythm more than abundance. Lunch eaten at the same time each day balances blood sugar far better than a perfect meal eaten randomly. Because predictability tells the adrenal glands to relax, and relaxed glands don't flood the body with stress hormones that waste nutrients. Think about what happens during stress. Magnesium leaves the cells. Vitamin C drains faster. Iron metabolism slows. Every wave of anxiety costs chemistry. That's why children in high-pressure environments often show physical fatigue. It's biology spending itself on survival. The quiet fix? Predictable kindness. Schedules with breathing room. Teachers who understand that a short walk can reset focus better than a reprimand. Parents model calm rather than rush. Energy multiplies in calm spaces. Nutrition alone can't replace love and rhythm. But it can make both easier to feel. There's a small practice some families call the pause plate. Once a day, they sit together and simply notice what's on the plate. Color, smell, gratitude. That pause triggers parasympathetic activation, the body's rest and digest mode. Food digests more efficiently. Nutrients absorb better. It's simple, but backed by solid physiology. A 2024 NIH metabolic study found that mindful eating increased nutrient absorption by up to 25%. The body literally uses more of what it receives when it feels safe receiving it. That might be the hidden definition of wellness: safety in receiving. When a child feels safe to rest, safe to eat slowly, safe to breathe, the energy deficit starts to reverse. And as energy returns, curiosity returns. They start to ask questions again. They move not because they're told to, but because it feels good. That's real vitality. Modern fatigue isn't just a missing vitamin, it's a missing sense of safety. The world races, and kids absorb that rhythm. We have to teach them a slower song. You can start tonight. Dim the lights at dinner. Turn off devices. Talk about one simple joy from the day. These gestures feed the nervous system as much as food feeds the body. In a 2025 Stanford longitudinal study, families who practiced calm meal times 3 nights a week showed measurable reductions in cortisol and inflammatory markers in both parents and children. Science keeps confirming what hearts already know. Peace is nutritional. And perhaps that's what fatigue is trying to tell us. Not just that something is missing from the plate, but from the pace. Slow down the pace, and nutrients finally have time to do their work. Iron can rebuild red blood cells. Magnesium can repair nerves. Vitamin D can activate genes. B12 can restore focus. Omega-3s can smooth every signal. But only if the body isn't sprinting past its own healing window. That's why the solution isn't a supplement aisle. It's time, rest, regularity, and the quiet discipline of care. Energy doesn't respond to force. It responds to faith. So when your child looks tired, don't panic. See it as communication, a request, not a failure. The body saying, please slow down so I can catch up. When we answer that request with gentleness, with nourishment, water, sunlight, stillness, the recovery begins immediately. Cells don't hold grudges. They forgive the moment you feed them well. And each day of balance builds on the last. Within weeks, the skin brightens, the eyes clear, mood stabilizes. Within months, you forget what that constant tiredness used to look like. That's the beauty of biology. Once you stop fighting it, it rushes to help you. And when biology helps, everything else begins to harmonize. Homework takes less time because focus holds steady. Sports feel easier because muscles refill with oxygen faster. Arguments shrink because patience grows naturally out of rested chemistry. Parents often think transformation requires major effort, new schools, new therapies, endless schedules. But most of the time, change begins quietly in the kitchen. One ingredient, one evening at a time. A warm meal instead of a cold snack. A moment of laughter before the rush. That's the atmosphere where nutrients become medicine. The body keeps score of kindness. Every calm evening meal writes safety into the bloodstream. Every morning walk writes sunlight into the bones. Every full glass of water whispers you're supported. Children don't need perfection. They need proof that balance exists. That their parents believe in slow mornings and gentle nights. That energy isn't something you buy, it's something you build. A 2024 Harvard Pediatric Wellness Review found that the single most powerful predictor of sustained child energy wasn't diet quality alone, it was family rhythm. Children who ate, slept, and rested on predictable schedules used nutrients 18% more efficiently. Because stability tells the body the emergency is over. And when the emergency ends, repair begins. You can almost see it happen. Shoulders lower, breath deepens, appetite returns. That's the moment fatigue turns into renewal. Teach your teen that health isn't punishment, it's permission. Permission to feel good again. To run without gasping, to study without drifting. To laugh without crashing. That's the real outcome of balanced nutrition. Not just higher energy, but emotional steadiness. Because when the brain has enough B12, it thinks clearly. When magnesium levels rise, it stays calm. When vitamin D activates, optimism returns. When omega-3s flow, empathy strengthens. When iron fills the blood, confidence literally circulates. It's a full-body conversation between chemistry and character. And it happens quietly. One meal, one breath, one night of good sleep at a time. So as you tuck your child in tonight, remember, fatigue isn't the enemy, it's feedback. The body saying, I'm ready to be cared for properly. Answer that message with consistency instead of criticism. Provide rhythm instead of rescue. Because every consistent rhythm, becomes a form of love the body understands. In a few weeks, the difference will show, not in test scores or trophies, but in how lightly they walk, how easily they smile. That lightness is energy restored, and behind it will be your steady patience, the quiet medicine that science is only beginning to measure. Parents, if you found something in these words that feels true, share it with another family who might need a little hope. Tell us in the comments what change you'll start this week. A slower breakfast, a family walk, more sunlight, more water. Each small act matters more than you can imagine. Because tired children don't need bigger ambitions. They need better foundations. Food, rest, rhythm, peace. And parents who believe that the simple things still work. That's where real energy comes from. That's where resilience begins. Healthy meals, peaceful homes, bright minds. That's the secret worth sharing. Because at the end of every study, every scan, every chart, the message is the same. Children aren't supposed to feel this tired. Not at 8, not at 12, not at 16. When they do, it's the body asking for something simple. Nourishment, light, rhythm, care. Energy isn't a privilege of perfect lifestyles. It's the natural state of a body that feels safe. And that safety is built by moments, not miracles. A home where breakfast waits without pressure. A walk to school where sunlight touches their face. A dinner where someone listens more than they correct. These are nutrients too. The kind that don't fit on a label, but feed the heart that powers everything else. A 2025 Stanford Pediatric Wellness Report concluded with a single line that says it all. Children thrive not when conditions are perfect, but when care is predictable. Predictable food, predictable rest, predictable love. Because when the body knows what's coming, it stops bracing for survival and starts building again. That's when fatigue fades. That's when joy comes back quietly. Not as excitement, but as ease. The kind of ease that lets a child walk through the day without dragging invisible weight. The kind that lets them sleep through the night without restlessness. The kind that lets them wake up, ready. Ready to focus, ready to learn, ready to live fully. So if you remember one thing from all of this, remember this. Nutrients don't just build bodies, they build futures. And every small change you make today, one more vegetable, one extra glass of water, one early bedtime, is a brick in the foundation of your child's lifelong energy. Healing doesn't happen in clinics alone. It happens in kitchens. It happens in lunchboxes. It happens when we trade speed for presence. So tonight, as you look at your child, maybe tired, maybe moody, maybe quiet, don't see the symptom. See the signal. See the reminder that they still depend on you to show them balance by living it yourself. Eat with them. Rest with them. Slow down with them. Because children don't copy advice. They copy atmosphere. When you live calm, they learn calm. When you eat whole, they crave whole. When you value sleep, they stop resisting it. The healthiest homes aren't the strictest. They're the softest. They give the body a chance to trust again. And trust is the real cure for fatigue. Parents, which of these simple habits will you begin this week? Tell us below. Your story might be the light another family needs. And if this message helped you see your child's energy in a new way, share it forward. Subscribe for more science-backed stories that bring calm, clarity, and confidence to modern parenting. Because raising healthy kids isn't about perfection. It's about pattern. The pattern of care that repeats until it becomes invisible. The rhythm of love disguised as routine. One plate, one bedtime, one quiet moment at a time. That's how energy returns. That's how balance is built. Healthy bodies, peaceful minds, strong families. That's the secret every parent deserves to know. And maybe that's the real vitamin every child has been missing all along.